Attention to orders. The President of the United States has reposed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Blake Crowther, Ryan Holbein, Daniel Karakis, Jordan Schenk, Francis Smith, and Alexa Vaders. They are therefore appointed to the grade of Second Lieutenant in the United States Army effective 16 May 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, the newly commissioned class of 2013. Please be seated. Second Lieutenant Ryan Holbein will now be presented with the Widener Alumni Saber. This saber is awarded to the newly commissioned lieutenant in the Dauntless Battalion who has demonstrated the highest attributes of scholastic achievement, leadership excellence, and overall scholastic performance. Lieutenant Holbein will receive the saber from Mr. David McNulty, Esquire, Pennsylvania Military College class of 1963.
Lieutenant Holbein, could you come over here and join me? Stand at ease. Dr. Harris and Warrior Captain Christian, pleasure to meet you and hear from you. And distinguished guests, moms, dads, grandmothers, everybody who's here today to celebrate this great day. It is my honor and privilege to be asked to participate in this ceremony. It's a deeply moving and sentimental time for me, for this is the 50th anniversary of my graduation from this institution, which was then known as Pennsylvania Military College, PMC, the second oldest military college in the nation. It's also my golden anniversary of being commissioned as a second lieutenant on the parade field back behind Old Main. I come to you as a voice from the past, bringing you a message of insight and truth for your future. It's the same message that we received as young incoming freshman cadets in 1959. That timeless message is this, that character counts. It counted then, and it counts today more than ever. Dr. Harris's predecessor from generations past, Colonel Hyatt, coined an epigram of truth for all young cadets at this institution. It is part of the wisdom literature of PMC and Widener that has stood the test of time and the devolution of our modern mores. His proverb was as follows: when wealth is lost, something is lost. When health is lost, when wealth is lost, nothing is lost. I had to say that to be able to leave the campus, so I would be punished for that. When wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. When character is lost, all is lost. In the opening lines of our alma mater, we sang, "Beneath the dome of PMC, the men in gray marched by. The banners of our loyalty held ever bright and high. Though weary years have called us forth from home to foreign sod, the truths you taught shall hold us fast to country and to God. Weary years have called me and my classmates from home to foreign and sometime hostile sod. The truths we were taught under the dome and as symbolized by the saber have indeed held us fast to country and to God. Two of my classmates paid the ultimate price for the preservation of these truths by their combat service in Vietnam. On the plaque behind Lieutenant Smith, you will find their names. John Lance Gagan, affectionately known as Jack, and William James Stevenson, affectionately known as Buddy. There are other classmates from different classes and different wars on these plaques as well. My friend Jack was the top cadet and president of our class. He was the brigade commander. He was a young man of character and integrity, one of the most distinguished military students in the entire nation in 1963. Like Jack, the recipient of this saber 50 years ago, you are like Jack in that regard, Lieutenant Holbein. In a historic event behind Old Main, retired and former President Eisenhower, former five-star general, came to campus and he reviewed the Pennsylvania Corps of Cadets prior to our commissioning. In return, Jack Gagan presented a ceremonial saber to President Eisenhower, and we, the Corps of Cadets, were saluted and blessed by the Supreme Allied Commander of World War II and the President of the United States, the man who put one nation under God, into our Pledge of Allegiance. Today, as an acclaimed leader of the Dauntless Battalion and a young lieutenant, you are the continuing heir and benefactor of that salute and blessing by General Eisenhower. By my presentation of the saber, I will link you back in time to that historic event in May of 1963. 2 years after that, Jack would be killed in Vietnam in the Battle of the Adrang Valley. Jack's heroic story is portrayed in the Mel Gibson movie, We Were Soldiers. Jack's death was like his life, virtuous and noble. He received the Silver Star for gallantry and action in trying to save the life of one of his wounded troopers. It is with the sacred honor and cherished memory of Jack and Buddy, who was killed 3 months later, from my class, for Captain Nathan Raudenbush, class of '05, killed in Iraq, and on behalf of all the members, living and deceased, of the long gray line of PMC and the Dauntless Battalion, that the saber will be passed on to you. There's one caveat, however. The saber comes heavy with responsibility and symbolism. The good news is that it's lightened by the heartfelt prayers of your loved ones and all the members of the Cadet Corps that have preceded you. Receiving this saber makes you, it's much unlike to the anointing of a knight. On behalf of all your fellow officers, you are being sanctified and set apart for a noble and decent purpose. General Eisenhower told us, history does not long entrust the care of freedom to the weak or the timid. In Saving Private Ryan, Captain John Miller whispered in the ear of Private James Ryan, "James, earn it. Earn it." In World War I, in Flanders Field, Dr. John McCrae passed the torch to a new generation, saying, "If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep." Abraham Lincoln spoke of the mystic cords of memory stretching from every battlefield and patriot grave to the living heart of all of you here today. On behalf of all those who have gone before, Jack, Buddy, Nathan, and all those yet to be commissioned, I charge you to earn it. Do not break faith. Do not break those mystic cords of memory. I charge you to be a person of firm character, a lieutenant of unshakable ethic, an officer of unmatched integrity. George Washington said, when we assumed the soldier, we did not lay aside the citizen. You are to be a leader beyond reproach, a servant of inexhaustible patience and grace, a patriot aglow with zeal and passion for your country and Constitution, and a model citizen and alumnus of the highest virtue and nobility. As fate would have it, today, I am the same age that President Eisenhower was when that saber was presented in 1963. President Eisenhower said to us, "Godspeed you, except for the inescapable obstacle imposed by 50 years difference in our ages, I'd be proud to follow where you will lead," end quote. I can say the same to you and to all the young lieutenants, except for the inescapable obstacle imposed by the impediment of 50 years difference in our ages, I too would be proud to follow you and all your fellow lieutenants wherever you will lead. God speed you and keep you all in his care.
Lieutenant Holbein will now sheath the Corps saber. This event is a long-standing tradition carried on from the days of the Pennsylvania Military College, when the cadet first captain would sheath the saber to signal the end of the academic year.